Welcome back, everybody. This is our number 2. I don't know how to say 2 in Goblish, but it's the second hour of Roll20 Presents Old School Adventures. If you are just now tuning in, where there's an XSplit-related bug that is forcing us to stare at our faces instead of the map today, so you'll just have
I'm sorry.
You'll just have to theater of the mind this shit. So, you returned to town. You've divvied up your treasure. How much of the treasure is going into the vault, and how much is staying on you?
What do we keep, since I've spent 30 of it, and you guys are buying daggers, why don't we just round it off to deposit 600, and then just leave the extra bit to ourselves?
I mean, it might be good. I don't know. What do we want to have money for in the dungeon?
Yeah,
I want to have money in town to be able to buy stuff with it.
We don't need to take money with us.
Yeah, I want capacity to get more money.
Okay, so how much money is in the bank right now? Then,
in a party fund?
Yeah, I assume that you're storing it all together as one thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we had
Gristle already had 30 in the bank.
plus another 80 from my 2 characters.
Okay, and remember, Julian's share is not going in the bank. Julian is keeping his. He gives it to somebody to take to his mama.
Is he getting 5%? What's he getting?
He's getting a share, so the same amount as everybody else.
We're going to deal with him.
He's getting 1/9 of the treasure.
You guys are fucking this up in my absence.
He thinks he's getting 1/9.
I mean, that was what you agreed to. That was your word.
We also agreed for him to help us.
He is helping. He carried the torch. He never agreed to fight.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to fight. He just had to carry the
He was
torch
afraid.
to where we wanted, and he didn't do this.
You're causing him a fear tax.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coward tax.
Yeah, this is the cost of your cowardice.
Well, if we do... Okay, here's the thing. If our plan is just put the gold in a bank and go off and get more gold, does it really matter if he takes a share?
Yeah, and there's nothing to spend it on.
It doesn't matter.
There's
We're
nothing
going
to
to
spend
end
it
up
on
with
at
so
all.
much money that will never spend. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
at all.
And the thing is that if
What
we
will
are
matter is
generous
to
in this
fund
way...
to hire future hirelings.
Exactly.
And the money does not matter at all.
Like,
No,
eventually, when you want to hire someone, you can be like, I don't know, you want 1,000 gold right now? Because
Yeah.
it's just fucking kicking around.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
how
if
much does it cost to hire people?
It depends.
You
What
get to
they-
decide, and
We
then
were going to give him a half share, but then we were trying to hire 2 people for a half share each. And one of them was like, no way. And then Julian was like, yeah, maybe. And we're like, cool, you can just get the whole share yourself. And he was like, okay.
It really, really doesn't matter.
I
Yeah.
feel like
So
we're
this way
coming at this from the wrong way. This is a thing of principle, and we have enough chaotic characters in this party that we should just kill him. I'm just saying,
You're saying
cheap
that
amount
we
of
have
money.
principles, and I'm feeling like we have principles? When did we start having principles?
Chaos means we don't care about this shit.
Yeah.
We throw money around, and
I'm sorry, you're bringing law into this.
if you
Okay.
are saying that Shadow will kill a man for 73 gold in a town, then feel free to do that. We're not going to stop you.
Yeah.
I'm just
when you
saying
put it
that
that
But
way.
also,
my
I also
characters-
just think it's best for us. It's good for us to look good in the eyes of the town, so that it's going to become easier and easier to get shit that we want when we're in town and to get future hirelings.
Yeah.
Okay, as a compromise, I'd like to have a talk with him.
Oh, you can have a
Okay.
talk with him.
Okay,
Yeah,
so Rolf, you want to talk with the
No,
weasel?
the shadow is
Oh,
going
the
to
shadow is okay. All right, so Julian is sitting at the table counting his share, and he's there if you want to go up and talk to him.
Yeah, absolutely. So the shadow's gonna we're still with hood up, like he always does, even when he's inside, because he's a badass. And it's that version. It's old version of Shades. He wears them inside.
Yeah.
So he'll just kind of sidle up, and he's kind of got a a gold piece going between his fingers,
Mm-hmm.
and he puts it down on the table next to Julian, and he's like, "So, do you think you earned your share out there, boy?"
He looks at you and kind of looks around. You can see he's like looking for Hawthorne. Like, why are you talking to me? I don't know you. And he nods and he's like, yeah, I think I did. It was dangerous out there. That ogre, I was sure we were all dead.
Yeah.
But hey, here we are.
No. See, sometimes things happen despite of others, right? We asked you to carry that torch in there so I could kill that ogre. Now that didn't happen. All those antics we had, running backwards and forwards, getting a torch in so I could make that shot and kill it, that was what we paid you for. And you...
I mean, no one told me there was going to be an ogre or goblins. Those goblins had knives.
What did you think we were going to do on an adventure? Just walk into that cave, there would be no ogre, and the treasure would just be lying on the ground?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. I'm not an ogre. And hey, nobody asked me if we were going to attack that ogre back when we thought it was a bear. I didn't want to fight the bear either.
What I'm wondering is, are you going to be useless every time we come into mortal danger? Because
Hey.
I'm not sure that's worth the gold.
Hey, that's hurtful. I did my
don't
best.
Hang on, wait.
Your best
Okay,
wasn't
hold on.
good.
It's just like mostly ignoring it.
Time out. Wait,
Okay,
hang on.
hold on.
We have not agreed to take him out again or anything like that. That's not the situation. We hired him, and now we're back in town. And if we want to hire him again, we can. But that's currently not on the table, and I don't really care to, unless we really, really want to.
I figured we were going to have one, like, just to keep as the torch guy again. I'm just trying to make sure that if we get him again, he understands that.
I love Julian the Weasel. I want him along on every adventure.
H and the weasel.
And I don't care. Like, we can hire him again. That's fine, and we can renegotiate a new price because of his failure and stuff. I just wanted to insert that, Dave. So I'm not trying to interrupt you, Dave, but
It's
not a done
I am
deal.
trying to interrupt you.
Okay.
So Ingrid's been sitting like relatively close by and had just been like minding herself. And she's noticing like the tone of this conversation that you're having with him, kind of like his voice is like rising and becoming more defensive, and you're like leaning in and like looking real mean. And so she just like stands up out of her chair and like walks a couple steps over. She's big too. She's like 6'2".
Yeah.
And she just like puts her hand down on the table, kind of, casually, and looks at the two of you and says, so I think that we had a meeting this morning, did we not, Shadow?
Yeah, I'll turn to you and I'll kind of nod and I'll look back at him. And I'll just say, it's just, something to think about if we decide to hire you again.
Yeah.
And then I'll just turn away and walk off with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Ingrid, the Julian gives you a look like, thank you. Okay.
Well, because Ingrid's the one who went along to hire him in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Ingrid went along with Hawthorne to go find hirelings originally, so
So
feels
let's
some responsibility.
we'll diagonal wipe to y'all at the guardhouse. The bailiff Tomas has asked you to come and meet with him. He's joined again by Bogdan, the lesser priest. So Bogdan and Tomas are the like lower tier kind of lieutenants of the Castellan and the curate, who are like the people. The Castellan owns this keep basically and runs it, and the curate is like the high priest. So these are their like lieutenants. And Tomas tells you once he's got you assembled, he says, I took your story to the Castellan. She's very pleased to hear you had some success. The ogre's skull will be a fine trophy on the walls, a warning to all those who would think to attack the forces of law that built this fine keep. But she's not convinced of your worth yet. if you want an invitation to the keep, and trust me, you do, I have a proposition for you. Now, I can't pay you anything for this except the favor of perhaps being allowed to meet the Castellan herself. If you were able to kill one of the chieftains of the tribes that occupy those caves, a high-ranking kobold perhaps, or the fat king of the goblins, and bring us a trophy of their defeat, well, and he like looks at Bogdan, and Bogdan like nods, like he's like, yep, yeah, you can tell they talked about this before. Tomas says, well, then you'd get the Castellan's attention. What do you say? Do you think you're up for the challenge?
And Gristle just mutters something under her breath like, kobolds think they're best in caves.
Yeah, Rolf is straight up like, yes, we will, and I will avenge my father. And they'll just like tug on his little holy.
So Bogdan kind of like says to you, he's like, good. Perhaps if you were to make a donation to the church, I could ask the other acolytes to pray for you while you are away, to give you good luck and the blessing of the gods while you are in such a dangerous and dark place. What say you to that?
Rolls her eyes like.
Yeah, Rolf's into it. He's like, yes, and my share was. And he like counts on his fingers, and he's like, yes, I might return with an offering, before we deposit it with your companion. I'll look over it, Mr. Bank Guy. Unless he's not the same person.
No, Tomas Heinrich is the banker. Yeah.
Oh right, yeah. With Heinrich then.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, if anybody wants to make a donation, like the party can donate.
Hell no.
What will happen if I make a donation, Adam?
You will have less
what
gold
plus
than you
one?
do now.
Do I get
this is
plus
like a
one
total
forward to
evangelism.
pray?
No, you don't get +1 for shit.
Are these? Is
I'm
this?
sorry, you're confused about what game you're playing right now.
Is Bogdan specifically asking for us to donate to the Church of Law or to a general non-denominational blessing?
Yeah.
I mean, they're priests of the powers of law, and if you give them your money, they will pray for your success.
No, my characters are out. They're not into that.
Gristle and Ingrid are out. Gristle, much less diplomatically.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Chunk and Hawthorne are actually high charisma characters, so they're like fairly charming about it, but they just kind of brush him off.
Gristle, with a walloping 7 charisma, is not.
Okay, so if you wish to make a
Kind of
donation,
like chokes on her own spit for a second. It's like.
if you wish to make a donation, you're welcome to. Yeah, when you as you're sort of finishing up, unless you have questions for the Castellan or for Tomas, for the bailiff, he basically just tells you like if your luck holds out and your successes are true, the Castellan has many things to offer adventurers. There's soldiers that she could lend you in your quest. The curate could bless your armor and weapons, but first you have to prove that you're worthy of their attentions. Do this, and he's like, you get the impression that he's actually on your side. He's like, he wants this to happen, and he's like, do this, and I'm sure that we can see those caves cleared of their monstrosities soon.
Ingrid would like to ask if they have any further knowledge of the perils contained within the caves. We heard a couple, stories before we left, but
yeah, let's
let's
make a roll. Let's see what, because you haven't asked Tomas particularly. Roll a d20.
roll a d20.
Yeah, just go ahead and roll. I just need a number between 1 and 20. Okay, what'd you get?
I did not roll very highly. I rolled a 9.
A 9. Okay.
If you
Uh,
pretend that's a charisma test,
Just
that would
20.
totally be a pass.
so
Yeah,
it's not
it
so
would
much.
be
Well,
faster.
if it were a charisma
Yeah.
test, if it were a charisma test, it would be like, tell me what you know, not like, do you know anything?
Yeah.
So Tomas says, some weeks back, a merchant came by, and was very upset, claiming that he had heard the cries of a helpless maiden coming from the caves, and that he's sure that there's someone imprisoned there, in desperate need of rescuing. This is the tale this merchant told.
I enjoy that no one. It was like, doesn't seem likely though. Let's not bother mentioning it to anybody.
I mean, the rumor has gone around, but no one, like, he just came by and then left. He was like, this is a terrible place, I'm out of here. But was like,
Yeah.
but you should send someone to those caves to save that poor maiden.
And they were like, we hear you're going in the caves, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so that's the piece of information that he
It is.
has to share.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like to return to the site of the caves?
Let's quit adventuring forever.
Is there anything else in the keep that you need to do?
I think that we've updated our equipment. We want to bank our gold. Do we want more hirelings?
Are you gonna bring?
that's
So you're gonna bring Julian with you again? Because he's willing to go for the same deal.
Oh yeah, Julian's my homie. Gotta have Julian the Weasel there.
I'm happy
Well,
to take-
ultimately, the call is Hawthorne's, right? Because
Yeah.
Hawthorne. So if somebody else wants to take Julian, they can. But Hawthorne, what's your opinion on the matter? Julian belongs to you,
Right.
except that he's just recently been arrested on several charges of money laundering and.
Sorry. Siren. Hawthorne is a little disappointed, but not like ready to kick him out of the group. I think she feels like a full share is pretty steep, but money doesn't mean much to her. So, yeah, I guess if it comes down to Hawthorne, she'll go along with another run.
Okay.
Do we want to try to hire somebody else as like in addition?
Maybe.
Huh?
I don't know.
It's less gold, less experience.
Also,
Yeah.
potentially more people to draw fire.
Yeah, that's true.
So just
Yeah, but if they're all cowards like Weasley,
Yeah, they're gonna be worth more
Well,
once
the
you're
thing
second
is,
level.
if-
But right now, you're just
saying he's a coward. Hawthorne makes a morale roll.
yeah.
Well, that's the mechanic.
Yeah.
It's not that he's a coward. And she has a good morale bonus. It just it was a
he's
bad
a
roll.
fundamentally weak and broken human being.
What
No,
I'm
you're
saying
getting
is there's
confused with
nothing we can
Lumpy.
do about it. Every hireling we hire is gonna have the same.
Yeah,
roll.
you'll never get a hireling that's better because the hireling's cowardice is based on the role of the person that works for them.
Yeah.
they
I
work
know.
for.
I'm just
Oh man, if only we were playing that game which was based upon this, but had more developed rules for hirelings where they get better over time and where you get them from, made by possibly someone in this group.
that's what are you even talking about?
So the thing about hirelings is like level 0 characters will be level 0 forever. But if you have a level 1 hireling and they're getting a share of treasure, they get XP for that treasure, and they will like accrue levels at the same rate. But you can't hire
He's
them
definitely
until
level 0.
yeah. You can't hire anyone that's level 1 now because you hire below yourself.
Yeah.
You hire
Yeah.
down.
30
Well,
sessions from now, we can get level 1 hirelings.
Exactly.
let's just go.
Sorry.
next December.
What's funny is like when like modern RPG audiences look at a game like Moldvay and they're like, "What do you mean it only has 3 levels?" I'm like, "You're gonna get a lot of mileage out of those levels."
Yeah.
But what happens when I'm level 4? I'm like, "Fucking good luck."
Aw,
So
you're
cute.
gonna play for 6 years?
Okay.
Wow, determination.
All right, let's head back to the
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't sound like we actually want to do anything else. I just wanted to confirm that whether we were renegotiating about hirelings or trying to find more. It sounds like basically we just want to put our money in the bank. Have we bought all the things we needed to buy? Did we need
buy
more
rations?
stuff? Like we
Yeah,
should buy
some
more
people-
rations.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I already bought the stuff I needed to buy. I assumed you guys were doing that, but if you
Okay,
weren't,
great. So should we just buy the stuff we need to buy and then tell you how much it costs, and you can just take it off the? Because I think you have the
Sure.
total.
Yeah.
payroll.
Sure. Okay.
I was thinking about
3 iron rations and 18 gold worth of daggers.
okay.
wow. Many
That's
daggers.
across both my
An
characters.
entire fan of
Chill.
daggers.
Everyone
Yeah, I was
just
thinking
chill.
about setting some things up with my thief, like deployable traps. So stuff like taking a crossbow and like hooking up the trigger to be like able to be released remotely as like a little sentry thing, or like tripwired. I've got some like iron spikes and like
Sure.
ball
Yeah,
bearings.
you
and
bring the stuff, and then later when you go to set that up, you can describe what you're doing,
Okay.
and we can figure out what roll to make.
Yeah, like maybe I just ask the guy at the store or like whoever made the crossbows. Like
He doesn't
could
know
you-
about how to make traps. You're the thief,
The
man.
spy store.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so you head out from the keep and head east towards your usual campfire spot.
And
Um,
John, can you cross off 60 gold that I spent?
60.
Yeah.
Okay.
60.
Okay.
Thank you.
And as you approach Campfire Hill, night is starting to fall. You see a group of 7, just over half dozen. See a group of like a half dozen men and women around what looks like a wagon, like a covered wagon with one of the wheels broken off. The wheel is lying nearby, and you can see that the rim has been broken.
Is it on fire?
No.
Okay.
The wagon is like tilted over. They're all standing around, and there's a mule nearby, like chewing on some crabgrass at the side of the road, and they're all wearing like heavy dyed black like wool like robes with like mantles. Most of them have their hoods down. You can see one of them has like stripped off his robe, and it's like lying over a nearby like stump. And so he's in kind of his like undershirt and like shorts basically. And he's like mopping his brow with a towel. They all also, even like the women, have their heads shaved, and they're in various states of growing back out. As you approach up the stream, or up the road next to the river, one of them turns and like nudges the others, and they all kind of like notice that you're coming. And the guy with his robe off like picks up like a stout like walking stick, and kind of like leans on it, and you can see that it's like shod in iron, like the head and the foot.
Yeah.
And he kind of like leans on it as you approach, but continues to like wipe his
Are there
brow.
any symbols on what they're wearing or on the wagon?
Yes. The wagon is plain, but they're all dressed the same, and they have like a heavy, like iron or pewter like chain around their neck, with a symbol on it, but you can't see it from here. You'll have to get closer.
Okay. Hey, friends.
Team Charisma, go.
Yeah.
I think Feldrick just
Alright.
mutters under his voice, cult.
Yeah, so I think because the shadow's scouting ahead, right? He'll like
Yeah,
come
the
back
shadows always
with
scary.
information that there are these guys, but they're all like robed
Yeah.
and stuff, so it's a bit weird. And he says he'll go like closer and see if he can work out.
But haven't they seen us at this point, though?
They've seen
Like,
you. They've seen a group of you approaching.
Yeah.
Like I gave you that much detail because the elves and dwarves can see, like the elf and the dwarves can
right, okay.
see more detail from them.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that as you approach, you see one of the women pick up a like a lantern, and she's like lighting the wick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a sneaking up situation.
I mean, it's getting dark,
Okay.
so if the shadow,
Well,
if the shadow,
it's
like,
the kind of, that's where I'm trying to, I guess, just figure out if the shadow is hidden from them, like as a separate kind of forward scout, as he does for us. Like, is it that they've seen the rest of the party walking down the road?
Yeah,
or
If
that
I've
they thought
come
of the
back
shadow?
to you and told you,
they've seen something. But yeah, I think the shadow, like, if you want to make a hiding roll, you're welcome to.
Yeah, so I think it's like, yeah, these guys ahead, they might have seen us by now because you're just walking up the road. Wait to like, or I'll hide down by the riverbank in case something goes wrong,
Okay.
and I can just nail some suckers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they they like light the lantern, and they won't see the shadow now necessarily unless you like make yourself known. But one of them shouts, "Hello, who's there?"
In common.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like Ingrid's gonna kind of whisper to the others, like, should we send a greeting party?
Yeah, I mean, Chunk is just kind of like baffled by this. Like, whatever. Like, yeah, let's go. I don't
Okay.
like if you guys want to make this into like a covert ops mission, that's totally fine. But his
By greeting party, Ingrid didn't mean that euphemistically. She literally meant, should some of us go and greet them?
I'll just speak for my characters. Their plan is just to walk by and go good evening and go to the caves and have an adventure.
Well, that's where we usually camp, though. We have to.
This is the end of the first day. They're kind of like near where you would normally camp.
We need to.
Are they literally on our camping spot?
No, but they're within like eyesight of it. Yeah.
It isn't like they're like, oh great, look, someone's made a campfire ring. Let's camp here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to whatever you guys want to do, but I'm not like interested in them particularly.
Okay,
so
yeah.
If you guys are, then we can talk to them. That's fine. But
well, let's go up.
I'm more interested in them as people who could end up being behind us and shoot us or whatever.
Yep, fair.
So it's just more, if we're going to sleep near them, I would rather us, and they know that they've seen us. We can't just.
So does anybody respond? Like, you're all whispering this stuff. Like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna go talk to them? And then again, like the man's voice like comes from the shadow, and now you can't really see them because you got this like lantern kind of sweeping where you are.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't be afraid. Come out into the light. Hello.
So Ingrid's gonna kind of like shrug to everyone else, and raise her voice and say, "Hail, friends! What brings you to this place?"
Come closer. It's hard to see you from where you are. And did you walk out into the light?
No. First, I want to over my shoulder say, "Julian, a light," because I don't want to be in their light.
Okay.
No, thank you.
All right. So Julian lights a torch, and like, do you want to take it from him, or do you want him to like come with you?
I'll beckon for him to come with me.
Okay. All right.
He's not threatening. There's people. I just don't want to be blinded by their light and then shot by them in the dark.
Can you make a reaction roll, Ingrid?
Yep. How do I do that again?
It should be on your character sheet, just near charisma, someplace.
Morale and reactions.
Yeah.
Oh, and the morale followers is that a thing that I should have set to something in particular?
No, just click the where it says reaction check there.
Great. And no bonus or minus?
Yeah, just as is. 7? Okay. All right. So yeah, you approach, and the man says, he says to you, we've run into a bit of bad luck, it seems. He's our wagon, and like gestures to it with his torch. It's lost a wheel, and well, frankly, I'm at a bit of a loss.
Yeah, and Ingrid's gonna kind of like, now that I'm closer, can I make out the symbol that's around their necks?
Yeah, it's like kind of a like ornate looking, like multi-pointed like star.
Mm-hmm. Do I recognize it?
Is it the correct way up or the evil way up?
It's just like a I don't know, like Ingrid, make an intelligence check. Let's see if you recognize it.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You recognize the symbol as some like splinter like sub church of the like gods of neutrality. They're kind of like religious. I'll say like outcasts, but they're like not seen. It's an unpopular part of this religion. Just because
Some
it's not.
unsavory neutral characters.
Well, not even unsavory. It's just like an unpopular heresy, right? Like they're just like they believe in some things that the main kind of like body of the church doesn't.
Well, I'm neutral.
Yeah.
And I'm so neutral that I don't really care about their heretical ways. Do I know enough about this thing to be able to like know the name of it, or like know like a proper greeting for like something to call the whoever seems to be in charge by, or anything like that? Any tidbit of knowledge
Sure.
that I can
you
like, work into my...
did roll a 1. Maybe you have like a cousin that fell in with this like splinter group.
Yeah.
You can always ask Rolf as well. Being a
Yeah,
cleric.
but you were a cleric of law, and you were...
I'll be
not
disdainful, but I guess knowledgeable.
So the reason they're unpopular is because they believe in they're like there's a like a religious term for this, but they believe that the world is inherently evil and things of the world are also evil, and so divesting yourself of the things of the world is like good. So they believe in like they take like vows of poverty and
Yeah.
So they're Buddhists.
give away their money.
No, I mean, yeah.
But they also like they take donations and then they like take the money and like ritually like disperse it so that it can like they feel that like wealth accumulates like bad energy or whatever, and they like want to like give it away to people.
They're reverse adventurers.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, the main church doesn't like this because you know they take all their money and give it away.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so they're yeah. So
Okay. So yeah, I'm going to. So now that I'm closer, I'm like, brothers, sisters, such unfortunate luck. On what path are you headed to the keep? Some things in your wagon?
He nods, and Ingrid, if you've come close enough now, like he comes over. And he's pulled his like robes on now, and kind of is like pulling them around his shoulders, and he walks up with his staff, and he says he's got somebody like you do, somebody like holding the torch or holding the lantern, and he says yes, we were headed for the keep. We travel these roads, and he gestures kind of up the roads. We make a cycle of these roads, visiting towns and castles, helping free the people that live there of their earthly burdens.
I nod. I know what he's talking about.
Okay. And he says, but our wagon, looks at it, has run into some trouble, and well, are we far from the keep?
Oh, not so far.
I fear we'll have to abandon it altogether, and well, and he like looks back. And you can see that like the other acolytes have kind of like grouped around the wagon and are kind of like nervously like waiting for you to leave, and like you can see they're sort of in a protective like grouping around it.
And I'm like, well, as we know, abandonment is one of the holiest of actions. Abandonment of material goods is one of the holiest of actions. I congratulate you in your predicament, in your suffering or whatever, like, oh yes, no, this is good for you.
He says like,
the gods have smiled upon you.
Yes, well, unfortunately, the gods have not given us enough people to carry our cargo to the keep, you see, and we'll have to make several trips and leave some behind, and
I
The
know, I'm
wagon,
nodding sympathetically.
earthly burden though it might be, in a very literal sense, would help us carry. Well, I don't mean to complain. Are you? And he looks and he kind of like looks back to the road. Are you alone, good lady knight? Like kind of looks past you.
And I like sweep my hand broadly. I'm like, one is never alone in the wilderness.
So, what's the
Yeah,
rest of the party doing right now?
Yeah, I'm speaking loud enough that you should all be able to
Totally.
hear.
Yeah, you can all hear the conversation. Yeah.
That's been purposeful.
Chunk and Hawthorne will walk up into the light at this point. Hawthorne's neutral too, and she's amused that these heretics are out here.
Yeah. And I've been trying to, for my part of the conversation, give you info. Yeah.
She basically assumes their wagon is full of treasure.
So have I.
So she walks up and kind of like eyeballs it a little bit and sees if there's a glint of gold or anything in the wagon.
I mean, you can see through the open wagon if you get a little closer. That, especially with the sharpness of your elven eyes. Yeah, there are several like wooden chests like in the back of the wagon. And if you look, the rut that the wagon has left in the road is like quite deep.
Yeah, I think her demeanor, like she smiles and like gives a little neutral sign language greeting to the guy.
Neutral doesn't have sign language. Sadly,
right,
no, only long cast. Neutral, you get one.
Cast.
It's an apathetic shrug.
Yeah.
It means meh.
Meh.
The great sign of meh.
It's the aliens in Futurama. The
Totally.
I don't have strong feelings one way or the other.
How are you doing, comrade? Me too.
But no, her demeanor is friendly, and she smiles, and Chunk sort of smiles back and pats Ingrid on the back, and at least my character so far, like, oh yeah, barely.
Yeah. The lower back.
The lower back.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more of a football butt tap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that seems.
Like my characters so far don't think that we're highwaymen. They think that we're adventurers, like seeking treasure in dungeons. But so they're just like, oh, these people on the road, whatever. But maybe the rest of the party is like getting ready to jump these dudes. I don't know, but they're being friendly and just like, oh, that's a shame. Yeah, we're headed to the. Hawthorne says, yes, we're sorry to hear that. We're headed in the other direction. It just so happens we're going to make camp for the night. But good luck in your endeavors, monk or whatever. And she's just sort of nonchalant about the whole thing.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, when Rolf joins you, he's probably gonna like look at it, like see that they're in trouble, kind of, and probably make like a snide remark to the effect of,
"Where's your messiah?"
If only you worship like a god that like had tenets and that you could follow, and that would help you out in situations like that. Oh well.
And Ingrid will give you like a disapproving look. Like,
disapprovingly neutral look.
Yeah, like that's gauche to bring to. Why would you bring up religion in such a in such a distasteful way at this moment? I was trying to have a productive religious conversation, Quan.
They're the heathens. I don't care.
I know you don't care.
If their car breaks down, that's funny.
Yeah.
Actually, I've just noticed both of my characters are assholes, even though they're both on the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Turns out having alignment at all makes you an asshole. Like neutral in this.
So
like,
Feldrick will speak.
Unaligned is like not having an alignment. Okay, Feldrick, sure.
Yeah.
Speak up behind them.
Not yet. And he's just like, well, do you need us to watch your cart while you take things to town?
And they kind of like
We'll be camped here anyways.
They'll kind of like look nervously at each other. Make a charisma roll.
I'm so good at charisma, guys.
I'm
Charisma
excited
roll,
for your
Feldrick.
failure.
Okay, no, all right.
That was a really high roll. Also.
So they're like, The main, like the father, he's like, no, we wouldn't ask you to do so dangerous a task. We'll just have to, and he like looks at his acolytes. We'll just have to split up, I suppose, and some of us will stay here. And he's like, Brother Orin, and he like starts assigning. He's like, you three, you stay here. The rest of us will take what we can carry and press on. And you notice that he picks the like biggest, toughest looking ones to stay behind, and like pointedly so. And he hands his staff. He hands his staff to to the biggest guy, to Brother Orin, and Brother Orin kind of grunts and just like and like puts it on the ground, like stares like you kind of like annoyedly at you, and they just set about like unloading these chests from their wagon.
Guys, I've changed my mind.
I
If
say-
they have a Brother Orin, then like we need to just leave.
So they start to unload.
And Ingrid's like, oh, such burdens. Yeah.
So the leader guy and some of them are just gonna pile treasure on their bodies and walk off into the night.
Yeah, they're just basically gonna like gather a couple of chests and they're gonna head off.
Yeah. Feldrick kind of like nudges the shadow.
The shadow is already off
Shadows-
hiding.
Yeah, the shadow's already
hiding.
hiding.
Who else?
Ready to
Nudge
kill
the
these
shadow?
people.
Who else is chaotic here? Who else do I know is kind of mercenary?
I mean,
I'm like watching you. If you give me like signs to attack them and stuff,
I
I'll
mean,
be able
these
to-
guys definitely don't understand the secret chaos hand language.
Yeah, so I think Felder
Yeah,
just
hand sign.
casually, like with his hand like at his face for a minute, but he's standing in the torchlight. He's just like, 3 guys that way, undefended, like kill them.
Cool. Yeah, all right. I see that.
And I'm just like smiling at Jerome.
Chunk, do you pick up on this?
Yeah, I'm chaotic
Go down.
too.
Yeah, I know. So I know that you would recognize the hand signals going down.
I don't know, yeah, like Chunk could see it if you want, but I'm also like standing behind you.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it in principle. It's the situation here is pretty tenuous, and looking out for number one means not having a death warrant at the keep for killing people on the highway. So,
How would they ever know?
well, that's the thing. Maybe they won't know.
I trust the shadow to do a good job.
All right, so
I don't
Shadow.
think Chunk interferes or anything.
My characters are completely oblivious that any of this is happening.
He's cool with it either way, so he just kind of doesn't say anything.
I'm just gonna keep having neutral talk with my neutral friends.
How far away do you let them get, the Shadow, before you spring your ambush?
I mean, out of hearing distance, I would hope.
So I'm looking at probably yes. Like during the day, because we need to stop and camp, don't we?
Yeah, night is falling now.
Yeah, so they're heading off back, and the party is gonna need to figure out camping. But if you're trailing them back and picking them off, that's a different thing that's happening.
Yeah, I'll start like trying to sneak back, maybe like half an hour's journey back.
Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna have any problem with them.
Okay.
If Chunk
And
gets
then
murdered by some neutral cultists on the road, I think that's a
Just
noble.
have a go at one of them, I guess.
Okay, so you follow them along the road, and can you make I need a move silently and a whatever your hiding ability is. You can give yourself a 50% bonus for the hiding, because you're using their light, right, as a sight, so you're just following their like ball of their sphere of light. So make that roll to stay. Actually, don't even bother rolling to stay hidden. You stay hidden, no problem. It's the moving silently that's the issue. So you can take a
Okay, so no bonus man.
yeah, you can take a 20% bonus on your Yeah.
he's just
Nice.
every time.
Okay. All right. So you have
Okay.
the drop on them when you're ready to spring the trap. Maybe they stop for a minute and like one of them like takes the heavy chest off of his shoulder and sets it on the ground and just like wiping his forehead. And they're traveling through the dark and they're like kind of nervously looking around. And what? Yeah. When do you want to hit them when they're moving or do
Is
you want
any
to get them?
are any of them armed?
Yes. They all have like cudgels.
I'll hit them when.
What's that?
Okay, I'm not bothered then. I think I'm lagging a little bit. No, I think I'm fine.
Okay.
I'll wait until they stop. The back, like the stealth game style. Wait until two are looking forwards and one's like slightly away, and just take that guy first and try and get him in the neck.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Okie dokie.
Just so you know, Hillary, you're muted.
Oof.
Oh my god. Okay. So they have an armor class of 8. Which
That's
may...
a serious roll that you just made there.
If you hit, yeah, that's a lot of
Yeah,
damage.
that's a hit.
So you got a
It's always 12, guys. I only roll 12s on
So
hit.
again, for those of you watching, Dave rolled an 11 to hit, which John, you said is sufficient for an armor
That
class.
hits
8.
AC 8. Yeah.
Yep. And 12 damage. Okay. So one of the
Someone goes to pee.
one of the monks shouts in surprise and then falls to the ground dead. The others draw their cudgel and like get back to back, and one of them grabs his holy symbol and begins to like murmur and like is like rubbing it.
Have they put the lantern on the ground or whatever that they were carrying for light?
No, the other one is holding the torch and his cudgel, one in each hand.
Dual wielding, some advanced shit.
Yeah.
So Dave,
Am I good to still be hidden for another backstab?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead and make one more and then
so you're gonna kill the guy who's praying.
Cool.
right?
We're doing it, guys. We're
Okay,
doing
which one were you attacking?
killing everyone.
Oh my god.
You're
Everyone.
killing the praying guy.
Can't
right?
see that roll, but damn, that was
Yeah, so you got a 22.
That's definitely a hit.
22 to hit and 10
Uh-huh.
damage. Okay. So you get the second one you just and kill the other guy. Which of those two? The one holding the torch or the one that was like holding his holy symbol?
Take the holy symbol out. You want to be able to see torch guy.
Kill the guy casting a spell.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like mumbling because I think that would be his assumption. I was like, oh shit, if I come across whatever, I'll just kill him.
Okay. All right.
So we still got.
So he dies too, and then the third priest, the one with the torch, starts like waving it around and like shouting panikedly. And I'm gonna roll. Meanwhile, back at camp. Okay. Yeah.
Meanwhile, we've just like casually set up camp on the hill,
Yeah.
overlooking the.
So yeah, so they hear they just hear like you hear the wisp. We cut to the camp and just hear like over the sounds of like dishes clattering or something, like just like the whispering of the wind.
Yeah.
Silence.
Okay.
We
So
are hero.
Right.
The shadow stalks at night.
Shadow, do you want to try and take this other one out?
Yep. Am I still hit?
Make a check. Do your being hidden check.
Okay. With any.
Yeah, 20% bonus. He's like moving around trying to find you, but there's still darkness. So. Ooh. All right.
Nice.
So the torch like falls on you, and he sees you like drawing another arrow, and he holds his cudgel up, and he shouts. And John, you have.
Morale check.
Yes, yeah, actually. So he shouts, and this is him trying to bolster himself to be like, and he might just not. That's a very good point. Yeah.
If he just
you.
runs away, I'll just assume that.
Okay. So their morale,
If he runs away,
in
he'll
the front.
die tired.
and it's morale or higher, right? And they keep fighting.
I think it's weird like that. Yeah, I think it's like low morale is good or something. Or no, it's equal to or under your morale.
And they stay, right? Because yes, if you get the number higher, that's a failure, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
the
yeah,
higher
yeah.
the morale, right? Okay, okay. So he holds his cut to the loft and shouts like, "Ah!" And then he sees you like drawing the arrow, and he just like turns and like runs off down the path towards the campfire. He's just like, "Ah, help, help, murder, murder."
You're just a
Shoot him
lone
in the
highwayman as far as he knows. You aren't part of our group.
No, they've
What do you
never
wanna
seen
do?
him.
Yeah,
You
they've
see
never
him. Do
seen
I
you.
shoot him in the back?
Backstab.
Do it, Dave.
Yes. That's the roll. I
Oh my
hit
god, you
the
got
shit out of
you
him.
got a
I don't
28
know how
this
that's
time.
Hold on.
Wait, 28 to hit.
How's that even possible?
How long have I been doing this for?
Okay,
Hold on.
we're gonna look at your
Because
character
what?
sheet here, the Shadow. 28.
You just hit your backstab button, right?
See what's
Yeah.
happened. Right, so I've put in the backstab macro, I had D20 plus Dex plus 4 because I thought that was my backstab, but I think that's already been counting in.
It does automatically
been-
count it.
I've been like-
Oh, so these are all
Okay.
4. How you big
You're
cheater?
so good at backstabbing.
Well,
didn't
I mean,
mean to
still minus 4. It's still a very solid hit. Let's see if you kill this guy. So you did 4 damage. You big cheater.
Yes.
Yes, you kill him. He only had 1 hit point.
Sorry.
So he's just like, oh no, help, help, and then bleh, just eats shit face down, instant death, toast.
All right.
Murder. Woo.
Yes, you've killed 3 acolytes.
What's your
So
plan?
now comes the fun task of like dragging bodies off the road,
Also,
hiding the chests in like a little copse or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How am I doing for blood? Did I make too much mess?
No, I mean it was just 1 arrow each. Like they're gonna like bleed out, but
Yeah, so I like begin like
hide
just
the bodies and the
hiding.
treasure in different spots. Just saying.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's not actually experienced. That's the thing. He's just taken to this and found out he's got a natural knack for it. So he just like drags them all off. I guess down towards the riverbank and then like piles some stuff on top of them, but then is going to head back to the camp.
And so, are you hiding the treasure in the trees and the bodies in the swamp? Is that what you're doing, or?
No, I'm just going to hide them in the same place. I just feel pleased with myself. I don't think he's very clever like that.
Yeah.
okay. So you return to the camp. Are you just gonna like walk out and be like, "Hello, friends, I'm mysteriously arriving now"?
Well, I think
Ooh.
we've made a separate camp from.
Yeah. How far away did you camp? Did you just like leave them behind you on the road?
I think our plan was to like camp up the hill, overlooking them, basically.
Okay.
I mean, we've been to this area.
Yeah, and they light a fire and like you can see them kind of like down the way. Yeah.
So
cooking and-
I'll circle round that, but just in case as I approach, because I don't know if they're maybe like together
got
now because I
fight or-
left.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'll say kind of loudly as I get there, I was like, "I'm sorry, friends, I couldn't catch anything. That deer I thought I saw, no, it got away."
Awesome.
As
And then
you're
I'm
coming
just
into our
like-
camp.
Yeah, I'll do that, but then I'll like stretch my arms up and look at Felden and just kind of just like hands. It's just like easy peasy.
The chaos hand sign for kill a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how do you retrieve your treasure then? Like you rest and do you send some people back out on the road to get it, or what's the plan there?
Are you
So
going to tell us about your sordid deeds? The only two people who know are you and Feldrick.
Well, Chunk,
yeah, and,
Chunk
like
knew
Chunk
something
would have
was
seen
going
it as
on.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so 3 of you know. Are you going to tell the rest of us?
So maybe I go to Chunk specifically because he's been like kind of the face for us, and I say, so we've got this extra treasure now. How do you want to deal with it with the party? Do we keep it for ourselves, or do we explain it away as a windfall? I don't know. I'll defer to you on this.
So Chunk, when you seem to have an ethical dilemma here, he's giving you this really suspicious look. Like he says, "Yes,
Oh,
will share it.
yeah. No, I wasn't saying not to share it, but how do we? Well, Rolf's gonna be. I'm not sure Rolf's gonna be down for the highway robbery sort of thing that I've already done. So.
I think perhaps it's best to. No, that's way too considered an approach for Chunk. He says, "Who cares what that cleric thinks? Do what you want. Take the spoils. Share with your friends." That's what I say. If he's not a friend, fuck him.
Okay, I'll just nod and I'll say, so guys, I was off scouting last night. I found a little cache down by the river. Need some people to carry
bodies that were just there too.
Yeah, but I hid the bodies.
Yeah,
and I could just like, go first and then I'll just like take. I don't know. I guess I don't think that far in advance.
Yeah, I was specifically like, do you hide them separately? And you're like, nope. I put them together. And I was like, okay.
I love the shadows just like not thinking. It's just like, yes, I found some treasure. Oh god, I left the bodies at the deal with that later. We'll deal with that later. It's fine. It's fine. Treasure, guys. It's great.
Yeah. We're all in this for the treasure, so I mean just however we get it, I guess, is sort of secondary to that. So I asked for a couple of people to come with me and get it, and I produce a couple of my large stacks.
Well, I'm just like Feldrick's like, well, I'll go, and Chunk, you should come too.
Right.
You
Totally.
carry on.
Yeah, the secret hand sign for be cool, man.
Team chaos. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, secret chaos handshake. It's like, chill. Let's leave these squares behind. Get some fucking treasure. Okay, so the three of you want to go and retrieve the treasure.
Well, we're gonna walk down the road.
Okay.
We're just walking down the road.
Let's go for a walk.
So wait, hang on. I lost the thread here.
This is where I want to check in about like what the actual plan is before we commit to it. So, what's your plan, y'all?
What I was about to say is it the next day? Did you say that, Adam?
No, it's still nighttime. It's like a couple hours later. It's when the shadow returns. So I'm asking, like, do you leave it overnight or?
Yeah. So this is what we need to know.
Chuck isn't super excited about heading off into the dark.
No, I would want to do it in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and have you told the rest of the party, or you just have told these two, and you're just like, oh, some treasure was there? Is that what you told the party, or?
Yeah, and then like Feldrick's like, yeah, me and Chunk will do it, and then
go get it. Because Gristle's gonna be like, well, if it's on the way back to the keep, why don't we just get it on when we're on our way back to the keep? Why do we want to carry a treasure around?
A fair point. A fair point. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess. Would you like me to like retroactively roll to see how well I hid all of this?
I mean, if this is, it
well,
depends.
we won't roll. If you're gonna leave it, we'll just leave it as Schrodinger's treasure until you go to check it again.
Yeah.
And we'll roll to see
it's
if
just
it's
more.
still
What are
there.
you going to tell us now in this conversation? Is more the question.
Okay. Yeah.
So Gristle's like, well, it's on the way to the keep. We get it when we're on the way to the keep. I'm not going to carry some treasure around.
That's fine with me. Yeah, makes sense.
Well, as long as you don't think anybody else is going to find it. I know I found it just by chance, so...
Well, you could hide it. Aren't you good at hiding?
Well, I did. I re-hid it somewhere slightly different to where it was previously.
Gristle's looking at you like...
I moved it from the place I found it to a different place.
Yeah,
the story is making more and more sense.
Very well. We'll pick up the treasure on our way back.
Okay. I've marked on your map where you left the treasure.
As long as those fool monks don't find it first and try to liberate it from this mortal coil or something.
Yeah, that would be bad. They can do what they want with their gold, but once it's our treasure, then...
And Ingrid catches you for a second there and is like, once it's our treasure?
I mean,
Well,
what's
I mean,
treasure
yeah,
that we
She
get
gives
is
you a
awesome.
pointed look. She's not gonna say anything, but she gives you a pointed look, like,
Yeah, no, I think that's totally fine, and I just like do that, and I like just shut down a little.
yeah. And then Ingrid's like, so maybe we should make sure we take this treasure back to the keep at a different time from when our friends, the neutral brothers and sisters, are there.
Oh, the neutralites.
Yeah.
Yes, those good friends of ours.
Yeah.
How
So
are
they
our friends
don't try and
doing?
take it, right?
I look down at their camp.
I'm looking, so like Ingrid's looking at you, trying to get a read on you, like, okay, because I feel like you've done something suspicious here, but I'm not 100% sure. So
To
I'm
answer-
just trying to like circle around you in this
To
conversation.
answer your question, Andrew, the monks seem to just be breaking camp. They have nowhere to go, right? They're just going to wait here till their friends come back.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's a long time to wait. All right. Very well. Let's get on to the caves then.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, so you just like looking at me suspiciously, and I just kind of look at you, and I kind of give you like just like a weak little smile. I'm just like, yep, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Alright.
fine. Okay.
It's fine.
All right. So you head back to the entrance to the caves, aka your like new place of employment.
Yeah.
The office.
Show up for work.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, it's not so much the caves of chaos adventure; it's more of the foyer of chaos adventure.
Yeah.
It's
The
true.
lobby of
The
chaos.
waiting
lobby
room.
of chaos.
Yes. Gonna get some
Foyer
outdated
of
magazines
chaos.
of chaos.
Yeah, Chaos Monthly, but from like 60 years ago. Chaos periodicals. Okay.
We don't so much go into dungeons. We're more of a dungeon adjacent
We
adventure.
skim the surface of dungeons
Yeah.
for any treasure that floats to the top.
Foyers
Yeah.
and dragons.
Yeah.
Balconies and kobolds. Okay. Cool. Well, let's take a break here for a little bit, and then we'll come back and we'll continue exploring the foyers of chaos when we return. So stick around, and we'll be back right after this.